Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of what I call the journey of becoming a content creator. My name is Stacey and I'm passionate about all things content creating, photography, videography, content for social media, and also things like business and marketing. I've even created a website which you can find out more at votion.co.nz. Everything I learn, I want to share with you guys. And if this is something you're into, please feel free to hit the subscribe button below and join me on my journey of becoming a content creator. So let's get into it.
For the weekend, getting blinded by the lights on the rise as we cultivate the finer things in life. Hard on ice, ride the wave till we evade the sharks and escape the past. Trying to see the wasted time taper off like weight loss. Staying source with the poets, stoic under pressure till I croak. Yes, you know it is the GOAT. Only winners standing on both sides, cause when the tide lifts, all boats rise. Now look alive.
Hey guys, welcome back. Thank you again for joining me. Got a bunch to catch up on today. There's been lots happening about behind the scenes, and so I want to give you a bit of an update about what I've been up to. I've got a bit of a checklist here, so I'm going to go through them. So today I'm going to talk to you about how I'm going to be the best shape of my life. This year was one of my targets to be the best shape of my life, and the daily tasks I have involved with that as part of the process. Other thing I want to talk to you about is I started another podcast with my partner Ames, and we call it Behind the Curtain, and I'll give you a bit of insight about that. Also, I've linked up with a tattoo artist by the name of Kirby Taveta, so I'm going to talk to you about our relationship there and what we've been up to and the great things we've got coming up with that. And a quote of the week. I've heard this photographer just last night, actually, while I was watching YouTube. This photographer popped up and he gave a great quote of the week, which I want to share with you guys, and I think it resonates with a lot of people, and I think you might get some benefit out of that as well. And also, lastly, I've got a creativity tip of the week, so stick around at the end of the podcast for my creativity tip of the week. But getting back into it, what I said before was this year I want to be about the best shape of my life. I have daily tasks I've set for myself, and in particular, I've got 3 things that I do every day that I make sure I do. I started back in August when I did this, and one of those things was every day when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I tend to do is reach for my phone, grab my phone, and just have a scroll on Instagram, check emails, check texts. And what I found is that after doing that, I didn't have my frame of mind wasn't right. When I'd see other people on social media and what they were getting up to, I kind of felt it was a form of escapism, right? And I mean, if I'm waking up first thing in the morning and first thing I'm doing is grabbing my phone to get some escapism, I don't know if the things are right. So what I tend to find I wasn't feeling the best after putting my phone back down. Like maybe I'd get to see an email, there was a problem. I'd get a text or a comment overnight on social media or something, a DM that you might get, and it didn't make you feel the greatest. And so to start the day, I wasn't really starting off on the right foot. So what I thought is, okay, how can I get my mindset right from the get? So now what I actually do is I reach for my iPad and I read my book for 15 to 20 minutes. And I use an iPad because, first of all, I don't have much storage space if I have books. So having an iPad is actually just everything's stored on the one device. I can read it at night time as well. I don't have to have the light on, so I'm not disturbing anybody when I'm just reading in bed. And the other thing as well, I quite like it as well. It actually has a timer on there. You can set a timer for how long you read, and I've got it set for 15 or 20 minutes. So 15 or 20 minutes every day when I first wake up, I read my book, and I end up reading about 10 pages of that book. And so far, I've started from the 1st of August, and we're up to, what's today's date? Today's date is the 29th of September. So I've been reading every day, and I found it really super, super beneficial. I've got my head in the right space. I feel like I've achieved something, and I've read so many books. I'm not really much of a reader, and having this little target, this little habit in mind in place has really, really helped me. And now what I'm seeing, because I've been doing it consecutively, I can see how many days consecutively I've been reading, and now I've got to the point where I don't want to break those days because I feel like then I have to start back at one again. So it's actually creating a bit of motivation for me to keep reading, is because I've set myself a daily challenge of just reading 15 to 20 minutes a day. So something I suggest you can try and do and see how you go. Like I say, I'm not really much of a reader, but it's helped me become a reader, if that makes sense. So that's something I do every day. The other thing I've been doing lately is cold showers. And it's cold. It's not getting easier, but they're getting longer, if that makes sense. So what I would do is I'd start off with the shower on normal temperature, so warm or hot. And then what I would do is I would switch the temperature to cold. And it takes your breath away. But it's really actually the first times it was like I would do like half cold, half hot, and so it wasn't like full cold at the start, and then I'd get gradually more and more. The water would get cooler and cooler and cooler every day I would do it. And like I say, it doesn't get easier, but it gets longer. And so what it's actually doing is helping me stay focused. It actually zones in on my breathing, because now I can just flick it straight to cold, and it takes your breath away for the first 2 seconds. But then after that, you start slowing your breath down. You're really zoning in on what you're doing. It creates self-focus, like bringing your mind into the present. And so doing that is really helping me mentally as well. If I know I can do that, if I can overcome that challenge to start off with, then I know I can attack the day with any other challenges that face me as well. The other thing I've been doing as well is a little exercise. So doing an exercise every day was actually a burpee, and not just any typical burpee. What it was a burpee that consisted of 5 push-ups, 2 frogs, and then you jump up, and that's 1 rep. And so what I did for the first of the month, I started with 1. And so doing 1 rep was 1 burpee. Day 2 was 2 reps. Day 3 was 3 reps. Day 4, blah, 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 all the way up. And I got up to day 50. On the 50th day, I was doing 50 reps. And what I found, it was actually time consuming, but I stopped at 50 because I wanted to make sure that was my target at first. Actually, my target was 1 and then my target was 2. And then I'm like, okay, I'm at 2, let's go 3, and let's go 3, and then go 4. And before I knew it, I got up to day 50, and it really helped me. Again, it created mental strength, because it made sure that you actually followed through with it, but created consistency, which is one of my things I talk about as well. I talk about consistency over perfection. It doesn't have to be great as long as you keep being consistent at what you're doing. So that might be a challenge for you. So for example, you could get up every day, and as soon as your feet hit the ground, do 1 squat. Next day, feet hit the ground out of bed, 2 squats. Next day, as soon as your feet hit the ground out of bed, 3 squats, and onwards and onwards and onwards. And see how long you can go for, and just stay consistent. The first thing you do is get out of bed, is just do that. So then once you've done it, it's done. You don't need to worry about it for the rest of the day. What I was finding was the burpees, it was taking me longer and longer and longer to do them. Obviously, when you get up to day 50, it's not just a quick workout. I was actually doing these on top of my workout, daily workout as well. So I'd often use them as my warm-up. So try that. Reading, so the first thing to do, bit of a morning routine. So start off with reading, a cold shower, doing your exercise as soon as you get out of bed, and then hit a cold shower. Let me know how you get on. Hit a comment below, or even drop me a DM about what sort of things you get up to as well. Next topic is I've started another podcast with my partner Amy. She and I have started this podcast called Behind the Curtain. We both have our own sort of personal brand. She's got an amazing women's fashion brand called Miami, which you can find at miami.com. So that's MIIYAMI.com. It's a cool women's fashion brand. And I have my own Votion web brand as well at votion.co.nz. And what we want to do is just share everything that we learn. We want to share with others out there that are either starting their new business, want to know how to go about marketing, just the insights of even parenting, because we've obviously got 3 kids, so we want to share information about that. One of the podcasts we had our son, he was home sick that day, ended up just walking straight into the set of our podcast. So, and then he just sat with Ames for the rest of the podcast. So these are the challenges that we face on a daily with having family and, trying to run a business and also all that other side hustle. So check that out we call it Behind the Curtain. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on any Spotify or also Apple, but even on Amazon as well. So check those out. Really insightful. I'd love for you to listen and give us a bit of feedback. We're always learning. So we're only 5 episodes deep. So we get to hear some feedback from you guys about what we could do better or what you enjoyed about it as well. Looking at my list, next one is, I've linked up with a guy by the name of Kirby Tavita. Awesome dude. We only just met recently. How we met, he's a tattoo artist and he's a creator and he's just a super cool dude. And how we came about was I put out on my Instagram stories about I want to get a tattoo on my arm. I want to get a full sleeve done, which I'll talk about on another episode. And I put it on my Instagram page, Instagram stories. Does anybody know a tattoo artist locally here in Auckland? And a couple of people hit me up, which was awesome. And one of the people that I know, he actually tagged me a guy tagged me with Kirby. And so I went and checked him out and we caught up and we just kicked it off straight away. So now what we're actually going to do is I'm going to help him create content. And so if you check out his Instagram page at Kirby Tavita Tattoos, you can see all the content I'm starting to create, a bunch of reels, some photos, but he's got a really, really cool studio and it's only literally 5 minutes from where I live. So I go and catch up with him weekly and we want to start our own podcast as well. So another podcast I want to start and just talk about, the different things that's happening in it's like pop culture, what's happening in sport, what's happening in the tattoos business, and all these different other things we want to create together. So yeah, I'm super excited about that opportunity. We vibe really well together. So watch this space about what we get up to. But anyway, check him out at Kirby Tavita Tattoos on Instagram and see all the great things he's doing over there. His tattoos that he does is like realism sort of tattoos. So I can't wait for the tattoo he's going to do for me very, very soon. The other thing I want to talk to you about is a quote that I saw just recently. Now, I was watching YouTube last night and a recommended video popped up by the guy from a photographer by the guy of name. His name is Mark Denny. I hope I spelled that correctly. It's spelled Denny. Mark Denny, I think that's how you say it, right? Anyway, one of those quotes was saying, and he talks about doing photography, and what he shared with this video was about how much he makes every year, and I was blown away by what he actually makes. One of my passions is to become a photographer, and my idea is to sell my photos on my website at votion.co.nz, and my thought process was that you can take a photo and you can sell that photo over and over again, but he was saying that the majority of his income comes from things like social media or creating courses, not so much from selling photos, which really, really surprised me. For considering he's a photographer, I would have thought he would have sold a lot of photos online, and that's where he'd make most of his money. So I was really surprised by that. And one of his quotes was saying that, and I'll read this quote here, he said, "The market for landscape photography things is small, but the market for landscape photography experiences is massive. So creating value for people is the way to go." And the other thing he said is just provide value and the money will come. So going back to his quote, I'll read that out again. The market for landscape photography things is small, but the market for landscape photography experiences is massive. So what he's done now is he's actually created photography experiences, meaning that people go on like a journey with him out into, because he's a landscape photographer, so he'll go out into to the beaches or forest or anywhere out, and he'll take a group of people and he'll teach them how to take photos. And what he does is creates online courses as well. So he's actually providing all this value, and that's where he's saying the money is coming. And that's what I'm saying to my partner Ames with her woman's fashion brand. And this is one of the reasons why I'm putting out a podcast and creating YouTube channels and creating other podcasts, as well as I want to provide as much value as possible for those people out there, for them to experience something like this themselves. Somebody might be into photography, somebody might be into video creating or into creating their own brand, but they have no idea about it. And I've got this knowledge that I can help with you guys that can get you where you want to be. And I know if I just keep creating this kind of content that the money will flow. And so my passion is the providing value, not chasing the money. Because DJ Khaled said one time as well, all you got to do is be great and the money will come. And so all you need to do is just do you and the money will flow. And so it was really interesting to hear what this guy Mark had to say in terms of, like, my perception was I've got to sell a product, like, for example, a physical product to get most of my money. But in fact, it's actually little things like, well, not little things, but YouTube. He was making some good money on YouTube just with ad revenue, sponsorship agreements, just purely by putting out content. So that's going to be my goal as well, is try and put out more and more content and provide more value for others to help them to learn as well. So yeah, so watch your space. I'm going to be putting out a bunch more content. Again, if this is something you're into, love for you to follow, hit the subscribe button, because I want to share everything I learn. I want to share with you guys. And the last thing I want to talk to you today, I'm looking at my list, is called Creativity Tip of the Week. One of my creativity tips of the week is if you're creating content, like, for example, reels. I've been creating a bunch of reels lately for example, Kirby or some of the All Black boys. And what I've found is that whatever platform you're on, that's your attention span. An example being social media. Your attention span is really quick. You want to just go on the next one. You're swiping. So, you're not really sitting down to watch a long form video. So when you come to editing something like a reel, make it quick and snappy. Make each edit quick and snappy, because you want to keep the person engaged. And you can make it entertaining, or you can actually make it educational. You've won again as well. So what I found is that when you're editing, so find some cool music to go with it, and then also edit. Your edits are really short and snappy. So most of the video part of the edit, probably no more than a second long. So it goes for a second, cuts to another one, could be less than a second as well. So get your cuts right, so it's fast paced, because I usually try and keep my Instagram reels no more than 15 to 20 seconds max for an Instagram reel, because people are just scrolling so quickly and they want to get entertained as quickly as possible. So, and having it fast paced, people really dig with, vibe with it as well. But making cool transitions and cool music to go with it. Then I have overlays, for example, like a VHS overlay, or I give it some cool color grading overlay, things like that as well. So creativity tip of the week is make your reels quick, sharp and short, and real fast editing with cool music. And so that'll keep your engagement up, and so people can enjoy your content. So there we have it, team. A bunch to talk about, but also lots going on. I can't wait to share more with you. So again, if you feel free, hit that subscribe button. Join me on my journey of becoming a content creator. And I cannot wait to see you in the next one. I'll see you then. Peace.